Last Sunday, Argentina lost the World Cup final, 1-0, to Spain. Messi didn't even get off the plane home with the rest of the team. The match was criticized for a plethora of fouls and ugly play, and FIFA is now investigating what happened after the final whistle. This wasn't new. It's never been new. 1986. Maradona punches the ball past England's keeper. The referee misses it completely. 2022. 18 yellow cards against the Netherlands, a World Cup record that still stands. 2026. VAR under fire again. Argentina at the center of it for the second tournament running. Argentina's World Cup story has been tangled up in controversy for almost 60 years. But none of it compares to the one almost nobody talks about. Because that one didn't involve a referee's mistake or a player's trick. That one had a general in the room. Argentina was awarded this World Cup in 1966, 12 years before it actually happened. By the time the tournament arrived, the country that won that bid didn't exist anymore. Not really. A military coup had overthrown the government 2 years earlier. The man now in charge called himself a general. His name was Jorge Videla. Here's what his government actually did while the world's cameras pointed at a football pitch. Less than a mile from the stadium where the tournament's most important match would be played stood the Naval Mechanics School, one of the regime's torture centers, where more than 5,000 people were tortured and are believed to have been killed. The people taken there had a name for what happened to them. They called it disappearing. The junta needed this tournament badly. They used it to project order and unity to the watching world, while the disappearances continued quietly behind locked doors. When journalists raised the brutality of his own regime, Videla had an answer ready. He called it an anti-Argentine plot. Into all of this walked a goalkeeper who had absolutely no idea he was about to become the most suspected man in football. His name was Ramón Quiroga. He played for Peru, and people loved him. They called him El Loco, the Madman, because Quiroga did something no goalkeeper did in 1978. He'd abandon his own goal completely, sprint the length of the pitch, tackle strikers in the opposition half like an extra defender, then jog back like nothing had happened. 4 days before facing Argentina, he did exactly that against Poland, chasing down their winger, hauling him to the ground, then taking the yellow card with a theatrical bow to the crowd. Commentators adored him. Crowds adored him. He was, by every account, the most entertaining player of the tournament. Here's the detail almost nobody mentions when they tell this story. Quiroga wasn't Peruvian by birth. He was born in Rosario, Argentina. He started his football career at an Argentine club long before he ever pulled on a Peru shirt. 4 days after the best moment of his tournament, he was about to become its most convenient scapegoat. Here's why the match mattered this much in the first place. There was no knockout stage in 1978, just 2 groups feeding into a final round robin. And Argentina needed to beat Peru by 4 clear goals, not just win, to leapfrog their bitter rival Brazil into the final. And here's the detail that should bother you more than anything you've heard so far. The junta had arranged the entire schedule so that Argentina's second-round matches always kicked off at night, after every other result of the day was already known. Argentina always knew exactly what scoreline it needed before a single ball was kicked. They knew the number, 4. What happened next still doesn't add up. Minutes before kickoff, Videla walked into the Peruvian dressing room. He wasn't alone. Standing beside him was the United States Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger. Videla read the Peruvian players a message from Peru's own dictator about the bond between their two nations. Sit with that for a second. Two dictators, an American statesman, a locker room, minutes before what was supposed to be a fair game between two football teams. Now, the receipts. Argentina donated 35,000 tons of grain to Peru, a shipment, at the time, on the scale of what you'd send after a natural disaster. Argentine banks unfroze $50 million of Peru's own money. It has been alleged, never proven, that 13 Peruvian political prisoners were quietly transferred across the border in exchange. 10 days after the final whistle blew, Argentina's government signed a decree granting Peru a non-refundable credit. One of these, on its own, is a coincidence. 4 of them, in that exact order, is a pattern. The final score, Argentina 6, Peru 0. Buenos Aires erupted that night. A reporter on the ground compared the scenes to Carnival in Rio or the end of a war. While the country celebrated in the streets, some Argentines were being held less than a mile away. They would never come home. Videla took a victory lap around the stadium once the final was won. The regime had gotten exactly what it came for, a trophy the entire country could celebrate, with his name quietly stitched into the memory of it. Say this once, plainly, and let it sit. The same government taking that victory lap was, in that very same moment, running the torture centers a mile from where the celebration was happening. But here's the twist that changes how you should think about all of it. The junta collapsed just 5 years later. The World Cup didn't save it. It bought time. That's all it ever bought. So now, measure everything else against this. 1986, Maradona's handball. One player, one split-second decision. Missed by a referee. No government involved anywhere near it. Not remotely the same thing. 1994, Maradona fails a doping test and is sent home from the tournament. 2022, the Battle of Lusail. 18 yellow cards against the Netherlands, tempers boiling over on the pitch, but no dictator standing in a locker room beforehand. 2026, VAR controversy, a disputed penalty against Egypt, and the ugly scenes from this month's final. Suspicion about officiating in the modern era. Not a decree quietly signed 10 days later. Every single one of these got more attention, more outrage, more airtime than 1978. None of them come close to what actually happened in '78. In '78, a government understood something about football that people still underestimate today. That a trophy can make an entire country forget what's happening a mile away. It very nearly worked. Whether that still counts as Argentina's first World Cup or something else entirely has been an open question for 45 years now.